All right, hello all. It's Anni here and warmly welcome to this live. So if you are new to my channel is support channel for all the caffeine quitters and caffeine addicts out there. And then I also do all kind of other videos about subjects that are close to my own heart. So, and first, when we start to do this supporting, reassuring what I do in this my channel, I support all the caffeine addicts in their recovery journey, but also all the benzo quitters, you are warmly welcome, and all the other drug quitters, of course, are warmly welcome. So let's put the chat also on. If you have any questions, you are warmly welcome to enjoy the chat. So first of all, I want to thank Jesus, my God, that I can do these support videos and I'm able to do this, and I'm able to share this information about what I went through with all these years, past 4 years, 3 months, and some days, close to 4 years, 4 months, being completely caffeine-free, no any kind of caffeine, no chocolate, no anything. And it's been, like, if you have been watching my videos, you know my story. I don't have to repeat it in every video, I hope. If you don't know my story, please check also my other videos about this topic. But basically, it was a wild ride. And like I said, I'm pretty much 90%, if I say, sometimes little kinks here and there, but nothing that I couldn't handle. And my brain is working now better than it have been. And today I really want to speak about little about the brain and what comes to not being able to control your brain, and how it can feel when you have a lot of anxiety and fear and a lot of doubt and lack of trust, lack of feeling your own identity, lack of feeling your libido, like lack of feeling any kind of sexual desires or anything that normal people would feel. So we're gonna go in that kind of stuff today. I just will make sure that everything is working. And then I will, of course, open up a little bit. Wait a second. Oh, yes. The voice is working. I will open up a little bit what comes to, like, recently I did find Jesus to my life, and how that have been already starting, how the Holy Spirit in me already have been starting to change my I could say a view in many things that I used to did, like the yoga and those new age stuff. I have stopped those completely. It just happened like naturally, because I did realize those wasn't like doing good for me. Those wasn't like anything that I thought. So I will be in the future also sharing video about my point of view about new age and what it did to me, and like why I'm so grateful about the Jesus who saved me, that I'm back on track because, like, for me, that is the only way to God, is go through Jesus. And also I have been starting to read Bible every day. I'm just so happy that my brain is able to read, and that I'm able to read, and I'm able to focus, and I'm actually able to learn and get the word, like, But of course, the people who doesn't go through these paths, they don't maybe understand what I'm talking about, of course, because it's really hard to see this from the outside perspective. Like, for example, if I go watch some of my old videos, it's so weird because I know what I went through. I know how hard it was. Even I was trying to keep up the positive vibe, but still not being able to control my brain, like really, really long time. Like, brain was just doing its own thing, and there was like hundreds of those anxiety symptoms, and it can feel like you are in that like wild roller coaster that sometimes give you a little bit that little bit space, and it can give you those little glimpses of feeling a little bit more normal, but you still are never quite normal because your brain is doing that rewiring. And we don't even have to go in this video any kind of like science, brain science. I have been sharing that too, and I have been translating also the book called Caffeine Blues in Finnish, like that. That's what I have been doing in this summer, translating that to my own language. And it actually it was really good to, like, for me too, to go through all this, like what Stephen Chernisk have right. But I think the really important stuff for this my work is just like share you this citizen science, what all of you are doing out there when you have been quitting caffeine and go through these symptoms, because we know that there is not so too much people who share about these paths, and like even I get sometimes message that people are a lot of questioning, and they still cannot believe that caffeine can do this kind of injury, and they just don't believe it. And when we go through that, it can be really lonely, because you know, our loved ones, they don't get it if they don't go through it themselves. We can lost friends, maybe family members in this. Some of us, we couldn't even work, like I couldn't, my brain just couldn't work. So there is a lot of things that are not so easy when we go through PAWS. And then also I think we have this really much need, like this self-validation. I don't know if that's the word, but this self-understanding. When we go through these symptoms, we want to speak about them. We wanna get understanding, because it also can feel that society have kind of like felt us down, and some of us, we didn't even choose this. There are many people like me that I didn't even choose to quit caffeine. I just went to that, right, kind of accidentally, and accidentally cold turkey, which can be even really dangerous for some people. That's why I don't recommend that, because it can be like for too much of a shock, like it was for me, because I was using so high amounts. So then it just like can be, I understand if you feel that this is so unfair, and you can think about that, why some other people don't go through PAWS, and why you have to go through PAWS, and many things can be like feel very unfair when we go through this, and we just want to isolate, and even speaking with somebody can be too much, because that person is living normal life, and you are just in your head, and your brain is doing all this kind of stuff, and you are not never just fully able to put your brain where you want to put. And that was the like a really big issue for me too in this journey. Even of course I did have a lot of pain and dizziness and brain fog, and on all these other symptoms, anxiety symptoms that I have been speaking about, like a lot of fear, even like a fear of this kind of puddle. Like I remember the state where I have like tons of intrusive thoughts, that everything was like kind of, I was paranoid about everything. Food, the water, what about there's something in water, what about there's something in food, and what is this, and you know, and that can be for if there is some loved one living with you, or some your friend, they can think that it's just like weird, but it's not. It's really actually really hard when you go through this, and many people they just have to always have their final words, even they necessarily haven't gone ever through. And I in my heart, I hope that people shouldn't have to go through this kind of suffering. And that's why I also want to share this information to people, to just have this information that how dangerous caffeine is and what it does to our brain, and how its caffeine has a lot of like long-term effects that people doesn't necessarily know when they start to use that, because it's so normalized. Is that the word? It's so normal in our society. It's like everybody just, we learn that habit, many of us, when we are little children, and then we just go with that, and addiction starts to go deeper and deeper, and we can be that many of us, we have that state of caffeineism already when we are like kind of children. So we don't really even know when we grow up some kind of other ways of being. And that also, when we start to use caffeine in young age, it also affects how our brain is like growing, and how our like you know, our own identity is coming up, and everything. It affects in everything. Sorry, my throat is dry. But anyway, so I just want to always give you a support and reassurance that no matter where you are on your journey, maybe you are in the beginning, maybe you have PAWS, maybe you don't have PAWS, but anyway, people who do have, they usually watch these videos, of course. Or if you are benzo quitter, my heart goes out with you. Those are just horrible, horrible drugs. It's not your fault if you're like, it's not just not your fault. Doctors, I don't know what is wrong, or I know what is wrong is our society, but it's so unfair. I know that if you have been described by those meds, and they even cold turkey you, and you just do what the doctor tells to you to do, and then you are injured, and it can be even much more harder journey for benzo people. This thing too, even like we all are different, like I said. So where we start from here, I think we can go a little bit for that roller coaster, and that how it can really like. And of course, I speak always to my own experience and my own journey. I cannot speak about you. How does this affect like your relationships and your libido and your stuff? But for me, it did felt that I was completely unable to just do normal life stuff that I'm now so much enjoying. Just like where I am now in my journey is pretty much like rebuilding my life with totally different kind of what is this, like the base that when I was living in addiction. Like I feel that I just have so much more healthier mindset. Like I don't know the mindset is the right word, but a healthier way to face things and to face stressful situations, and just like enjoying to do those normal stuff, going for a walk and not being dizzy or not having brain fog, and even if I do have a little bit neck pain or those blahness days sometimes, it's not anything that I just know that I can handle this. I actually can handle this. This is not something that it's gonna put me in that very bad place where I was when I did have those bad waves. And of course, there was a little bit those feelings. For example, I was sick a little bit time ago, that I had those thoughts a little bit that if there gonna be another wave still, if they're gonna be like, because I'm not God, I cannot know. But even that, those thoughts just went away. I just forget those thoughts. So I didn't get stuck from those. I just didn't get wave. And I was just fine. Like, but of course it's normal. I think this can be the good message for those people who are maybe in the phase in their recovery that you are just starting to live normal life, but you are still not like 100%, but you are like able to be like normally. You can be normally with other people. You don't have social anxiety, and you can go places and like you can enjoy all the normal stuff. And then there can be a little bit those moments still that you think that you know that what you went through, and kind of it can sometimes like kind of get us a little moment scared. Like at least for me sometimes, at like 4 years, it's long time, like the 4 years, even 3 to 4 years. And I say that this is not of course to everyone. Some people, they heal much faster and they don't need these videos then probably, but for others who are not quite there yet, so it's also a phase. We always go in this recovery in new phase, and you will come. Sorry, my English is it's so poor now, but you will come in that phase that where you actually start to rebuild your life again. You start to live your kind of life. You will go back to work if you want, if you haven't able, or study, or whatever you do, whatever kind of life you aren't able to live, or maybe you live kind of your life like all it's just not like we don't live this life at all, like we just lie in the bed for years. Not, thank God, not that's not for many people in caffeine quitters don't happen, but it can just feel that life just goes, and you are like a kind of like a living dead in that sense, that your brain doesn't work, and it can be a really scary place to not be able to control the own brain chemistry, what it does, and that's what the post-acute withdrawals comes. It's the state when, like PAWS is post-acute withdrawals, and that comes the word like when your brain and body still go through those changes that have been happening throughout those addiction years and that adaptation process, and it have to rewire back. And now when I say it, it sounds like yeah, you just rewire back to homeostasis. But when we look at this journey, and when I have been able to help so many of you and hearing your stories and being just able, that's a big honor to me, to being able to hear your stories, and I'm grateful that I have been able to be like to support. So it's been just a huge learning experience for me too, and what I have been learning, it is like we always said, it is wild roller coaster ride, and like for me, I didn't know what kind of journey I was heading when I did go in this journey. So I have been kind of growing in this journey. I have been learning that anxiety, in my case, it just wasn't like something that I could fix, or something that I could do something about with my diet, or something. I did learn that I just have to kind of surrender and kind of let it go, and easier said than done, but that's basically what I learned, that anxiety goes away itself when you just stay out from the drugs. And of course, I always keep saying, stay out from all mind-altering drugs, and chocolate included. This is so important, because some people, they just keep using chocolate or something, and they don't necessarily heal in the same way. And also, I don't recommend any supplements, because those can also like interfere, what is the word, like disturb in some people's healing process, or just make them worse. But anyway, if you don't do that, and you just try to live, you eat, you drink water, you do what you can do, and you will recover with time. And like I did promise some of you, maybe if you have been watching my channel like since pretty much beginning, hi Jaakko, you know that I did promise that I will do this channel 5 years, because even in my 2 years, I have some kind of like, I don't know, the sense that this is gonna take for time for me to be at 100%. That's why I never say that I'm 100%, and I decided that I don't say that word before all my symptoms are gone. So I'm pretty sure that is quite the timeline for me to then be done, and then I pretty much have shared my journey with you. Will I continue to YouTube after that? I have to say I don't yet know, but I hope I will, because I have so many other topics that I wanna share about what comes to our world, which is really sad, what is happening in so many ways. And I want to be able to help all the like drug addicts, not just even the caffeine addicts, but all like benzo addicts and all the drug addicts that can like, you know, that needs help. And this is a really good way, this YouTube, to get message out there. So let's go a little bit. I'm so much of a speaker. I always like ramble this and that and this and that, and then I don't never like find a red point. What is that? But anyway, like if you feel like you don't have, like you have low libido and you just feel like you existing and you cannot control your brain, or then you just feel like blah, or nothing interests you, you are just like, you know, when you are longer in the journey, it can be more like it goes in the state that you are just like, in some ways you are better, but in other you are not. So that's when I go in that one thing that I want to say, that it's completely normal. So even when you start to feel a lot of better, there you can still have those little bit ups and downs until they go down. and completely away. So that can sometimes make you feel still that is this ever gonna go away, because until the anxiety completely goes away, even there would be a little drop of anxiety. Let's say that my drop of anxiety would be this nose ring, which is kind of stupid example, but anyway, and other kind of my body would be okay. Okay, let's say that this hat would be my last piece of the 10% of anxiety that sometimes comes like that, a little bit laugh or a neck tension or whatever. And then otherwise, I would be fine. Do you think that I would be every day just like cheering when I have that little bit blah day? I was just cheering every day about this other body, which is almost healed? Or would I still sometimes think about that, why I have this, why this is here, like why I'm feeling this still? Some symptoms can be sometimes lingering for some people, but like I always try to keep up the positive vibes. Like, think about what you don't have anymore. Can you think about what you don't have anymore? I know that some people, it can be that you just have a lot of like the symptoms just are there until they are gone. They are just there until they are gone, and then they just are gone. Or some people's, it's more like windows and waves. But anyway, I pretty much, what I have been seeing, when people go longer this journey, they start to feel better. They start to have glimpses of feeling better, and they start to feel, at least in some way, a little bit better when they go through the worst of the worst. So in that state, I just wanna support you to keep going and just try to stay away from the negative stuff, because even if you have a okay day and then you just like your anxiety, let's say that your anxiety would be like moderate day, and then you just go watch some like videos that make you angry or doesn't feel good or that, so then remember that that's not a good thing to do. Like, I know that you are all doing the best you can, and like I always say, the time is the healer, as crazy as it can be, but that's how it really is. But the point in that point, when you are in that journey, that how you are able to like go your days, how you are able to use your days. And I promised you that when you just get rid of this, that you are just very thankful. You are just very thankful. And like for me now, I'm just very thankful where I am now and where I'm going. Of course, I don't say that life happens. Like for me, this, like, Jesus came to my life, changed my point of view in many things. There is also a lot of like I feel a sin, like I didn't feel like sin, I don't know, it's the English word, like sin, so much, but I have been feeling that sin so much. I have been praying that I can forgive all my sins and in my life. So there of course it's like a, it's not easy, but what comes to that PAWS and withdrawals, it's not something like that. It's just like, you know, things that I will go through in this moment, and I will share more about that and about that, like, because, you know, also those are like, I think there are good topics to do in whole nother video, because there could be so much things that I could just speak about my life when I was in addict and what things I was doing, like about yoga and stuff, and I don't do them anymore, and they were still a little, like, a big part of my life, and I don't even want to do them anymore, and why and all that. But because this is a caffeine quitting support video, so I try to like always separate these lives. Like in these lives, what I do, the support lives, quitting caffeine support lives, I wanna stay in this topic because it is so important to give you this reassurance. And hi Chico, terve Chico, kiva nähdä. So if you have any questions now, I can see that there is not so many people now watching this. I try to put informations and announcements in in future more when I do these lives, because now it's kind of, I just jump in when I have a good moment or time. It's been like I just randomly do these lives, but yeah, I have been planning to put information out there, like that you can actually then know when I'm gonna do live. I'm just a little bit bad about that. I always forget also share in my Discord when I'm doing a live. But also in Sundays, so today is Saturday, so tomorrow I will be in my Discord. You find that in my links. There is my Discord support group. I will be in the voice chat like 7 p.m. and to 8 p.m. in Finnish time, so you can translate that in your own time also. But I will put their announcement when I'm there, so you will get the message when I'm there. So basically, you know that is also, if you wanna join the like voice chat or like chat with me in, you know, real time and ask something, because I know that is something that sometimes it can be good to have someone to just, like, you have somebody who have gone through this and just maybe share something if you want, or then you can just chat there in my group with others, whatever. I know that it's not for all people. Maybe in the future, maybe I will do some kind of Zoom group in the future too, for the caffeine quitters. Would be maybe nice in like weekly to have some kind of Zoom meeting, but I haven't yet started that. Now we go with the Discord, but if there would be like more people who would want that, you can also like put me message in Discord or email if you would be interested about that kind of support group. So then I know that if there would be people that would like that, then. But yeah, so now if you have any kind of questions, jos on mitään kysymyksiä nyt, niin voi kans tulla kertomaan. Well, another thing that I was wanting to speak about, like losing friendships in this journey, or like feeling isolated, or of course many people have been probably feeling very isolated about the last few years because of this pandemic. And I say very intentionally pandemic, because, you know, I think it very different way maybe than many. I don't believe in COVID. I really don't. I don't believe in viruses exist. So anyway, but anyway, in that sense, because all of those rules and stuff, many people have been like living kind of isolated life probably anyway. So this addiction recovery journey also can be like that. You just feel isolated, and it can affect that sometimes we kind of lose friends, because not just that we are like a bad people, that we don't wanna be with those friends. I have been so introverted anyway that I never had many friends, so that's really haven't been my big issue for me, because I'm just like a person that I'm just like to be by myself, and that's just like, that's who I am, and I probably will be until I die. That kind of. But anyway, but even for me, like stay in contact with my family, who didn't really understand what I was going through. I was just like, you know, trying to keep the good spirit, but I couldn't always. Sometimes I say that I actually say to them that, do you know that caffeine caused me brain injury? Even it is a reversible injury, but that's how angry I was, because nobody didn't get me. So it was really hard to me to be excited about the achievement that my family members had, or they did send me some pictures about their life and what was happening. And I don't have own children, but about my like relatives' children, or what I would so much like to be evolved, like the supporting aunt or whatever, and I couldn't be that. So there is also now some amount of guilt about those years that I lost. I wouldn't want to say that years that I lost, but I can't help that sometimes my brain just go there, that because the truth is that I couldn't be the person that I would have like it to be for some of my loved ones when I did go through that, because I was just so sick mentally, and because my brain didn't work, and I had so much anxiety and depression, and if you don't never have had, if you haven't had ever depression or anxiety in your life, or if you don't even know what that is, so please understand that those persons, if you have a loved one who go through PAWS, or if you have a loved one who go like benzo PAWS or caffeine withdrawal PAWS, please do understand that they are not like, it's not something that anyone would want, and it's not something that they would be rude because of their choice, or they would be not want to be your friend because they choose to. It's something that they just can't. It is actually really, if you are depressed, it's nothing. Nothing matters. Like I always have been said, if somebody would give me $1 million or anything, I would just have been like, I don't care. I don't care what I wear. I don't care. Okay, well, that's for me a little bit stupid example, because I don't care anyway so much what I'm wearing. I'm just like, that's just my personality. I just like, whatever the clothes. But anyway, like if you normally are the person that, okay, let's say that you like to do your hair and makeup, or you want to go out with your friends to play games and like active. I was really like physically active before. I loved sport. I do love sport. So for me, it was really hard that I did lose that part of my life in these years. That of course I did something. I always did try to do something, but never couldn't really go back to hard exercise. And I still haven't gone back to hard exercise. I think that comes to last. But I'm just happy to able to do now something. But what was my point? But anyway, just know that it's not your fault, and you will be you again, and other people will notice that when you heal. Okay, let's to the chat. So hot here. What? Hi, Anna. Annie, but you can say me Anna too. Annie, did you get any nosebleeds during your withdrawals? Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I did. Actually, I think I did that one time. It was that 35 months wave when I also had that 5 days flu, and I was just sneezing very much. So I did have like a nosebleed, like if you mean that, like the blood bleeding, but it wasn't like really bad. It did go away. But other than that, I have to say I don't remember, because it can be possible, but my memory for the first 6 months is, thank God, it is bad. I don't know, my brain just doesn't want me, it doesn't let me go back there. It's actually, it feels like the beginning feels now like really distant, like it almost feels that, oh, it didn't happen to me, almost when I watch those, because I also have some videos that I didn't never put in YouTube in my beginnings times, bad videos that I couldn't even speak, or I was just, really, really messed up. So sometimes I don't really like to watch them, but sometimes I just feel that it didn't happen to me, or I just so, yeah, it's maybe it's some kind of like protecting mechanism also, what brain does, that if you are in a shock, or if you go through very heavy mental illness, you kind of just like, you forget. And I didn't get the PTSD from that. I don't know if I will get that, but I don't have PTSD from that, thank God. So yeah, so that's pretty cool how our brain does the rewiring, and also like being in this state now in my life, like rebuilding my life, and being with relationship with my boyfriend, and we did almost many times break up with this, because like he didn't go through same than me. Of course, it's really hard for some. He was very understanding and loving, and he had been supporting me. Otherwise, I couldn't have like live even, like because he was helping me so much. But what comes to your love life and that kind of stuff, that can be just really, you know, not existing. Like for me in those hard years, like when you just go through your days and you never know how you feel, and you never feel normal, or you never feel that you want to be in touch or kiss. Okay, maybe sometimes you can have like those times when you get better that you want to have something, but then it can be like, oh yeah, that moment went, and I don't know when the another moment comes when I feel like that. So that can be like really normal and really hard. So my heart goes out with you, all of you, if you don't feel like, for example, like what comes to sexual desires. Of course, there can be like different age of people in this journey, different kind of situations. Some of you are married, you have kids. Some of you can be a lot of younger. Of course, then can be even a lot of harder if you are a young man or young woman in your 20s going through something like this. And I just can't imagine. But anyway, it's not easy for anyone when you are not able to control your brain normally, like when your brain just doesn't go there where you want, and that's because of anxiety. Like I always say that you can check all those symptoms that I have been also listed here in my channel, and you can also put them kind of under the anxiety umbrella, because like when our brain does this rewiring and our nervous system is doing the rewiring, that is why we are anxious. That's why, because it's just we are not, our brain is not normal then. But then when you are normal, you just know that, and you don't. I will say also, some people ask me like, when I know that I'm normal. Well, first thing, that you don't need this. My channel, no need to that. If you are recovered from addiction and that, no need my videos. Other thing is that you don't really much maybe wanna even talk about anxiety anymore. You are just starting to be interested about other topics, living your life. You actually wanna forget that what you went through. It's normal, it's healthy. Of course, you don't go back to addiction. You are not going back to addiction if you go through this and you be healed. If you are not completely healed, you still have possibility to relapse. If you don't, you have to let your brain rewires and that you go back to normal, and like you just don't want to go back. Why would you go back? Like, I think so many wasted years about the caffeine addiction because I just didn't know, and I was so angry in this journey. I was so angry to society and like, why nobody didn't speak about me for caffeine. I wish I could be 20s and going through this, and I didn't have to go through all this OCD anxiety stuff that I had all my life because of caffeine. But that's still something that the topic, it's still something that people doesn't understand, that caffeine is a hard drug. It affects our brain and memory and creativity and motivation and it takes you slowly. It takes everything slowly from you, kind of. And the first things it takes you're gonna have last one to come back. Oh, and one thing also about my sleep. So my sleep now have been that I don't wake up nighttime anymore. Like sometimes one time, but that's for me. I think that this cannot maybe sound for somebody who, if you don't have had insomnia, it's not anything that you are just like, not a big deal. But I did have insomnia all these years, on and off, like I said. But for insomnia, for me, it was horrible. That's why I was so tired also. I was tired all the time. But now, and for the naysayers, but yeah, I don't go there. I want to be humble because, you know, why to argue? I don't have reason to that, but I just say that there was a lot of naysayers saying that I have something else, saying that I'm mentally ill. Well, have to say you were wrong. All those symptoms are pretty much gone, so, and I can eat whatever I want now. Of course, I'm mainly eating healthy, but it wasn't the diet. It was the time. It's hard when the people, it's really hard when people are just wanting to attack with you, when you just share your own story. But anyway, who cares? Who cares at this point? I just put the information out there, and I will hope that will help somebody, and doubters can doubt. But one thing that I want to say, that if you are still caffeine user and you maybe would like to stop, and you are not quite sure that can you stop, or just try to taper, maybe go to the Quitting Caffeine Facebook group and find there other people who have been successfully tapering. Maybe try that. Or then just like, if you feel that you can taper on your own, please try. And then try to stay away from caffeine at least like 6 to 12 months before to see really benefits, if you don't see them yet. Then sometimes some people come, Anni, I did quit coffee maybe a year or two, and they say, but I don't see any difference. Then first my first question always is, but did you quit the caffeine? And then there are, what do you mean? Coffee is caffeine. No, caffeine is caffeine. Caffeine is tea, caffeine is chocolate, caffeine is energy drinks, caffeine is Cokes, caffeine is some medications that contains caffeine. Caffeine is coffee. Caffeine is everywhere. Every caffeine is caffeine. You have to understand, caffeine is not just coffee. So if you sometimes think, some people can think that they just quit coffee, their brain, and they don't even necessarily notice that, their brain would say them to have cocoa, hot chocolate, or maybe tea, or maybe chocolate, and their caffeine addiction just keep running. And they are not detoxing. They are not having withdrawal, of course, because you are still in the drug. Would I say in the drunk, if there would be some alcoholic, and you will quit the booze? But it's okay to still you have a beer, because beer is okay. It doesn't cause you alcoholism. Beer is okay. Of course not. Not any kind of alcohol is okay. If you are alcoholic, you are alcoholic. Not any kind of alcohol are not okay. This is the one thing to argue always. It's about the moderation, Anni. It's not so black and white. It's about the moderation. Moderation. When you are an addict, there is no moderation. When you are a caffeine addict, like I was since childhood, there is not moderation existing when your brain is already messed up with that drug. That is actually very dangerous to start to talk about, the moderation, for people who is like desperate in this journey, or like people who had to quit. They didn't even have the choice. They just end up this journey because they was just done with caffeine. So you're gonna speak about me with moderation. Maybe some people can moderate. I don't say that. Maybe. But if you are addict, if you have a caffeineism, how do you know that you have a caffeineism? Well, it's simple. Quit caffeine and wait some years. Quit all of that. Quit all forms of caffeine. And then, if you have easy time. All right. A little bit preaching, but sometimes we need that. Hey, Anni, are you good? Love your fuzzy feelings. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I just have to always preach. But they say that preach what you pray, pray what you preach. So, but of course, in normal life, I don't argue with anyone. People can have their Cokes, people can have their energy drinks. But with this channel, I will keep the topic. This channel will be the super channel of the caffeine addict. So don't accept here that I will be just sharing you some kind of, yeah, but the moderation is okay. No, I don't never share that. I will just share the real stuff. Okay, but that's what of course addicts don't want to hear. Did your symptom get worse at different times of the day? Seems like the evenings are worse for me. Yes, definitely. Good question. Thank you for that. Yeah, for mornings for me were like the really horrible at the beginning. First 6 months, like hell. But but even that after that, it was really hard. Like the anxiety and the panic attacks was real big in the beginning, what I did have in the mornings, but anxiety was in the very high. And then it did get a little bit better during the days. I could get some things to done usually when I did get over the worst. But then in the evenings it was hard, because I do remember how hard it was. I just didn't want to go to the sleep. I was scrolling. Sometimes I did scroll my phone, but it wasn't because the phone is scrolling. But it's just like I just had to keep like my mind distracted, because I did have so high anxiety. I was just so scared. I had those terrifying thoughts that I will maybe die. Then I also had so much neck tension and neck pain, plus those intrusive thoughts. And sometimes I remember I just fell asleep with all that terror. I fell asleep with terror, and then I did wake up middle of the night and had panic attacks and night terrors. But yeah, that's all is gone. All. I don't ever have that anymore. Haven't had. Knocking the table. But just know that it's very normal. Either you have, like, some people don't have this high anxiety in this journey. That's something that we also have to remember. Some people can have milder what comes to anxiety. Anxiety that we know it's a mild, moderate, extreme, and panic. And what I did have basically was like pretty much extreme and panic when I did cold turkey after like over 1,000 milligrams a day, pretty much on and off. Yeah, could be even more, because when I did read the book Caffeine Blues, I did realize that the 100 milligram cups that I have drinking, there was actually way more caffeine than I thought. That actually in my cup there could be in one cup in 300 milligrams of caffeine. So in that sense, I was a really, really heavy addict. But anyway, I didn't know that. Probably many doesn't. But yeah, normal, very normal. Admire what you need in your life. Energy flows where attention goes. You and me. Yes, yes. What you start? It is possible that you have an excessive desire for sex due to withdrawals. Yeah, it is possible. Like, do you mean that if I do understand English right? Because I don't know if I do understand. Like, do you mean that you have you want more sex during the withdrawals? That is possible. Because it is possible. It didn't happen to me because I was just so, fucked up. Nicely said, fucked up. But in some people, they can even kind of have a porn addiction, or they start to just, what is that? Do the porn addiction because of the dopamine being so low. So I think it is possible. Because, for example, for me, what I did crave so much like junk food. It was just horrible. but for in the beginning, because I was even having those suicidal thoughts, and my heart goes out with some of you who have them. Just know that they will go away, and you are just safe. And then of course get help if you feel that it's too bad to handle. But anyway, so I just said to myself that I'm gonna let myself to have pizza or junk food, whatever. I just don't want to touch caffeine. So then later I could fix my diet. And even if I did fix my diet, it wasn't about diet. It was about anxiety. Because I noticed also my cortisol bellies went away when anxiety goes away. So, people doesn't get that anxiety can do the cortisol belly. Anxiety can do all those stomach issues. Anxiety can do the reflux and burping and the diarrhea and constipation. And that can be due to anxiety. Anxiety can do this, the neck tension. Anxiety can do the skin problems even in this. It's anxiety. Anxiety. Yeah, but okay, but I just try to keep up the positive vibe. Okay. Negative side effects, some, not all. Yes. So if you have another kind of like desires or wants or whatever, wanting the junk food or whatever, I'm very sure that that's all is normal in this. Like I cannot say that no, it's not normal, because you know that anxiety symptoms also we go through them in the different ways, and our brain can be a little bit different how they're rewiring, and what do we have like. I just did try in the beginning pretty much, because I did have so high anxiety. I have had so much that adrenaline and noradrenaline going on, so I felt that I had to also like keep moving. So I was walking a lot, and I just felt that I had to burn those stress chemicals, but still it was really hard, because I never felt like normally energized. I just felt like wired, tired, and just that that I felt that I just have to keep moving, but in the same time I was just exhausted, and I had those heavy legs and arms, those jelly legs and arms, and sometimes I was just thinking that I'm just 100 years old existing zombie. and it's funny, because I don't usually go back to my old videos anymore. It's just, I don't know why, but okay, I know why, because I don't want to go back in the anxiety times, the bad times, but how many comments I have had. Thank you for all these comments, and I have been answering, I think pretty much all, but there can be some that I haven't been, because of the YouTube doesn't always get me the information about the comments. I don't know why is that. But there's been so many people who have had the same stuff in the comments too. And even sometimes I think that if I had some kind of comments that, make me feel down, when some people are like, no, it's not caffeine and stuff, and you make so big thing about that, it's not caffeine. And then I just think that, okay, maybe I just turn off the comments and I will do my thing and speak about here. But then, what would my channel be without your comments? Nothing. So comments have to be there. People are always wanting to read other people's comments, because otherwise they think that that's a crazy girl out there. It will be the only one in the world who have the caffeine withdrawal PAWS. But it's not the case. I'm not the only one, I promise you, because there is so many others. And if you go in the Quitting Caffeine Facebook group, you will find other caffeine quitters. And if you go in the comments in my channel or Kato's channel, which I can put link in below this video, you can see that there is other ones. So I haven't been making up this in my mind, no. Okay, so my brain feels really foggy at night, even after 5 months after high consumption of caffeine. Did you find any remedies or just time? First of all, yes, it's very, very normal. I remember I had that too in the same time zone where you were, like 5 months. I had really, really heavy brain fog. And I wish I would have remedies, but I would just keep this in mind, that drink a lot of water, even more than you would usually drink, and you can put salt in the water, because I did experience that sometimes in the summertime. It was like the heat did make me feel even the worse, like brain fog, because I couldn't stand the heat very well then. So I felt so much dehydrated. Also, anxiety made me thirsty all the time. I was like thirsty as hell because of anxiety, and I didn't even know that was anxiety symptoms before I started to have that. So just keep yourself hydrated, maybe put some lemon in the water. I know that it doesn't probably take your symptoms away, but if it can even make you a little bit feeling more better, so you don't feel like, even this much better, it's worth to try. And just like try to do something to distract your mind, what you like. Either it's something, if you can watch something nice shows or whatever. For me, the first 6 months, my brain was kind of so foggy, dizzy, that when I was trying to watch Netflix or some kind of like TV shows that I used to like to watch in the evening, I just remember that they were just on there. The TV was just on, And I was just laying in their bed. We were living in the city, and my boyfriend was playing CS because he's playing a lot of computer-based games. So he was playing CS there. I was trying to watch TV, and I was just remembering my brain is so fucked. Like my brain is so fucked. Like there was no way that I could like get anything from that. So that's completely normal. Just know that it will completely go away. I promise you. I promise you that. So don't worry. I know it sucks. In that it just sucks, but you know, it's not permanent. And congrats for the 5 months. That's really huge. Yupistar, if you don't did this channel, I wouldn't believe that this is caffeine withdrawal. Yeah. Yes. Well, I tell you, Yupistar, many of us who have gone through this, even me, like sometimes even I knew people who have gone through this before me, and I knew that they had the same stuff, and they was telling me that this is a long road. Even I was like cranky, and because it was so much, my brain was doubting. But my concerns in long time was just that am I gonna be damaged? That was my concerns, that am I gonna be damaged? I wasn't even concerned that if somebody would have to take care of me rest of my life and stuff like that. But I was just concerned that is my brain gonna be damaged? And that's why I want to support all of you who maybe have these same PAWS, because I can tell you it's not. Anxiety makes us to feel that our brain is damaged. But like anxiety can make you feel all kind of feelings, but it is the brain rewiring. And also I want to also say this, that it's even that when we say this anxiety word, okay, there are a lot of people who got anxiety in their life, and they go to the work, and they go to the hobbies, they take care of their family, they go to the play games with their friends, and they have anxiety. So we have to remember here that this anxiety that when it comes to benzo withdrawal, caffeine withdrawal, or drug withdrawal, it's different anxiety in that sense that I don't say that those other anxieties can be debilitating, because anxiety is anxiety. But this that we do, it's because of this brain rewiring and stuff, and that's why it's so hard to understand when we quit drugs, that because we didn't have this before. We sure did have other kind of anxieties, because everybody has. When we go through our life, we cannot never say that we don't ever have any anxiety. If somebody hurts me, or if something happens, I will feel bad about that, but it doesn't do any. It's I move on. That's what I mean, kind of like normal anxiety. Like you are able to kind of move on, and your brain are able to process these things that happens. But what I felt in this journey, that my brain wasn't able to process feelings, emotions, situations. I couldn't able to handle any stress or anything normal. Okay, Swartkar, thank you for all the information. Sometimes feels like it could be something else, but I remind myself everything was fine before caffeine. Yes, and that is so good. That's what I also did to me, because, you know, and I think that's why we have so much this need to this self-validation and explaining ourselves, and we need to so much explain ourselves. You don't need to do that anymore when you heal. You are fine. You don't need, you can tell your story if you want, but you don't have to, because you don't live through that anymore. But I think that's why it is so hard for many people when we quit, because we were so much in life before this. Like, okay, I did have my OCD. Yes, I sure did have OCD and intrusive thoughts, but I was still very active. Like, I was just living life, and that's why I felt so many times in this journey. Even I am grateful that I did quit caffeine, and I never would go back to that ever. But I remember that there was times that I just had so many anxiety. I thought that if I could even get that my other life back, if I could even get my life on caffeine back, because even that life would have been better than me to just like, you know, be without the meaning. Even that is all healing. But when you go through like real heavy anhedonia or depression, or you don't just have any meaning, you just exist, go through your days or do something and you don't enjoy about it, sometimes your mind can just start to think that, but my life was different. Like, I didn't have this before. I didn't have any need of sharing what I'm sharing now, because I didn't even know that those things exist. I didn't know what depersonalization was before. I didn't know what derealization was before. There was so many stuff that I wasn't. I had seen people like really mentally ill, and like I have been saying, I have been even myself when I was younger in mental hospital because of intrusive thoughts and OCD, but I was still kind of different person. I was still able to do so much more stuff, even in that sense, what I had then, what I am now. And of course they did give me they described me those medications there. In that mental hospital, we were always able to have coffee. So it was like crazy. You could have coffee there. And that was like back in the days when I was like, I think 19 years old. So that's just crazy. And I did also have a benzo experience when I was younger. And I didn't end up having PAWS. Thank God. I didn't use them long time. And I had some SSRI medication also back then, and I did quit cold turkey them too. And I know many people can have PAWS from SSRI medication. So we should never start to compare ourselves. Even I didn't go through benzo withdrawals, but my heart goes out with all the benzo quitters, because I know that so many people have PAWS. So many people they don't know. Like I didn't know. Like, doctor just described them. And thank God I did just quit cold turkey when I was young, just by myself, because I remember I was starting to feel I was on Valium. I wasn't in Xanax or any other. I was in Valium, but even that Valium, I remember that I started to feel just like, you know, weird. And I remember that I was just, okay, I'm gonna just cold turkey all this on my own. And I did cold turkey. Then I did have something. I don't remember what it was, but I think some weeks I did have maybe some hallucination, and I was sweating and something, but nothing like this. So we have to be really respectful for other people too, because we cannot know what they are going through. So now I just did have to go through PAWS with caffeine, which I never couldn't have believed that that's something that people can experience. Okay, so thank you for all the information. Sometimes feels like it could be something. Okay, I did read that too. Sorry, I am reading the same comments. Okay, but do you have any other questions now? I think now I have been already saying pretty much everything that I wanted to say, and just keep up the good work, and you know, you got this. And remember, life without caffeine, when you get through the withdrawals and PAWS, can be so much better. And you don't want to live your old years being a heavy caffeine addict. That will. I always want to remind you for this, that remember also that those people who are on caffeine, even they wouldn't know that, many of those are still, even they wouldn't know that the caffeine is causing them issues. There are a lot of people in caffeine addicts that while they are on caffeine, they go through a lot of mental illness, anxiety, depression. They can be very heavily dehydrated. They can have all kind of heart issues. They can start to have all kind of pain issues. They can start to have all kind of adrenal exhaustion issues. They can have all kind of skin issues, like, because it affects in every cell in our body, and all our neurotransmitters and hormones. They can have also a lot of like hard periods, like PMS issues, menopause issues, all kind of issues. So just keep this in mind, that you are in recovery journey. So you are healing, you are doing the best service for you to be being free from that drug that you were so heavily addicted before. And better later than never. Or how would that saying goes, like, and all of those who are still using caffeine, just don't worry. And I don't never judge you. I'm here if you ever wanna quit, or if you can benefit for this information. Maybe just try to wean. Maybe if you cannot quit completely, maybe just try to wean and even see how that feels. And maybe someday you are able to wean completely. But you know, it is worth this. It is worth it. So thank you for all of you watching these lives, and see you on my other lives see you on my other lives. And I will speak about my next lives about that, my religion, and about the dangers of the new age and other stuff. And hello, kato mua. Ice swimming, do you think it help us handle uncaffeine effect? Avanto. I did do that in the swimming hall. Mä kävin niin kun silloin alussa niin kun aina välillä uimahallissa, joskus kylmäaltaassa, ja sitten mä kävin myös tuo lumihangessa. No, ei se mun niitä oireita ottanut pois, mutta kyllä se välillä niin kun oli ihan semmoista virkistävää. Että ehdottomasti kokeile, jos se auttaa sua, koska mä en voi tietää. Voihan se olla, että se vaikka sua auttaakin. Mutta ainakin jos itsestä tuntuu, niin sitten jos se alkaa tehdä, että siitä tulee liikaa ahdistusta, niin sitten se kannattaa jättää. Mutta sitähän ei voi tietää ennen kuin kokeilee. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Bye.